Welcome back to the H&S podcast. Unfortunately, Henry's not here, so the classic duo is back. The Water Boys. James, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
And I am Shaun. Henry is off gallivanting out in Japan, so you've only got the best with you today, none of the rest. We're
You
gonna
can
go.
tell the fans the truth, mate. Henry's been sacked. We've moved him on.
Yeah, well, he had to get sacked because he's been deported. So, yeah, Henry, hope you're doing well, mate. Hope it wasn't too traumatic for you, but yes, let's get right into it. This week we're going to be speaking about Origin. Obviously, there's not much else to talk about. Who cares about the regular season footy when Origin is on? We're also
Yeah,
going
Origin's here to ruin the regular season.
100%. We're also going to talk about PNG and anything else that comes to mind as we go along. The team selections are probably first, and let's start with Queensland because we are New South Welshman. If we start with them, we won't stop. So let's get Queensland out of the way first. And I think the biggest selection talking point for Queensland is probably also the biggest selection mistake Queensland have done since, ironically, not picking their own current head coach. And when Kevy Walters, I think it was, didn't pick Billy Slater for Origin and instead put Darius Boyd there. I could be wrong. But since then, it's been pretty controversy free. And now David Fifita is not in the team anywhere. James,
Yeah,
what do you reckon?
yeah, I agree. It was crazy when they left Billy out, and I think it's absolutely crazy that they left David Fifita out. He's been playing well.
Very
Not
well.
only, Queensland, they pick and stick apparently.
Yeah,
But it's not like he's been playing badly.
exactly.
And Billy said this whole thing of David last year set a standard for himself, and he's got to live up to that. Like what? What? Uh, yeah, it
It makes no
must
sense.
be. Yeah,
Like
he's been
I,
playing well.
I personally think he's been playing better than last year. Like,
Yeah,
and forget. Let's, for argument's sake, let's pretend Billy Slater's assessment, and he's no slouch, is correct, and he hasn't been playing as good as he did last year. I think he's still playing miles better than either Suar or Nanai.
without question. And that's what I said to you earlier this week in the group chat. Like, I want Jeremiah Nanai's PR team
100%.
because this whole David Fafita is lazy thing. He isn't. And if he is, then what does that mean Jeremiah Nanai is?
100%. I'm pulling up his stats now. He's not very. How many meters does he make a game? He averages. Do you want to guess how many meters he averages?
Is it Nanai or Fafita we're talking about?
Nanai.
I would say 98.
Close. 88.
Oh, he's only 8 meters more than Jake. He,
That's
he averages 88 meters a game.
88 meters a game. It's ridiculous. It's so
Are you
bad.
serious?
And he's known for big breaks as well. So his just damaging running is non-existent because if he makes 40 after a line break, then because he does run a decent line. That's about all he does. He catches balls and he runs a decent line.
Mm.
But David Fifita does those
Oh,
things as
that
well.
too.
Like
But
if
so if David Fafita isn't, he set a standard for himself and he's not living up to that. Then what about the years that Nano had? He set
exactly
a standard for himself, and he's not living up to that.
100. Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. It's to me, it reeks of something else going on. But David Fifita is such a good player that it shouldn't matter. Like unless it's something egregious that is done, he should be in that team every day of the week. Um,
I saw a couple of people on social media and that and on radio and stuff like that. They're like, "Oh, I did the backflip. Does that play a part?"
yeah, look, I can see why it could play a part, maybe, but at the same time, if it does, why does Billy Slater care?
Yeah, I mean, he backflipped on a New South Wales team.
100%. Yeah, like
Like, that Cherry Evans backflipped on the Gold Coast.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
least you can somewhat make he dogged Queensland, all that sort of stuff.
Uh-huh. But
Where
it makes no
Fifita,
sense to me.
Fifita dogged the Roosters for the battling Titans. Like, he should be a hero in Queensland for
Hmm.
that.
He should be captain of the Queensland team.
It's odd, and Hopgood plays solid, but mate, as a New South Welshman, they pick Hopgood over Fifita. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not even like Hopgood, whatever, he's in the team. It's the missing David Fifita, and the reasons given from Billy are just they're not good reasons. And every time he's been asked the question, he's said the almost verbatim exact same thing, which tells
Mm.
me that he's made this decision for different reasons and he's practiced what reason he's going to give
Yeah,
publicly.
because didn't he say he took it like a true Queenslander or
Yeah, and he
something?
said that
Like,
like 3 times. And
what does that even mean?
yeah,
It's just
and
gibber.
yeah, and then the same thing where he's like, oh, and he texted me as well after that. That was in every single answer that he gave, and he made it seem like an afterthought. And I'm like, well, 3 times in a row, that's not an
Mm.
afterthought. You're now giving out a practiced answer, which if
Yeah,
he had a genuine reason that would have flown in public, you probably don't need to rehearse an answer to that level of detail, right? You just give the reason.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, that's a big concern for me. No Fifita for the Queensland team. But the rest of it, I think the other one is Selwyn Cobbo and Ben Hunt on the bench.
yeah. That's yeah. The rest of it's all pretty, self-explanatory.
Sorry, Harry Grant's on the
Um,
bench.
oh yeah, well,
Much of
yeah.
a
That
muchness.
was
Yeah,
much of a muchness. One of them was going to start. One of them was going to come off the bench. Um, yeah. That like I don't get unless there is an injury. How are you getting Cobbo in the game?
yeah, and I think some people have said, oh, you can play him in the middle. He's a big body. I think someone's had a good year. Um, but he's effective on an edge for a reason.
Yeah,
I don't think just because he's a big body, you can play him in the middle of the field as a forward. I think especially defensively, he's going to get marked up on. Um, and if I'm New South Wales, what I'm saying, we won't go too deep into tactics. Hopefully, we'll do a preview later, but as in a different podcast at some other time. But if I'm New South Wales, I'm pinging Cobbo every time.
oh, the old the Nathan Brown walkers on, walkers on,
Yeah,
and you'd be going, well, Cobbo's on. Let's run at him,
100%,
make see if he knows how to tackle
100%.
someone that's not a winger.
Yeah, you might not get a line break from it, but I think you're going to win that contact 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, quick play of the ball, boom.
Yeah, play off the back of that. Appy Coruscant darting out off. Wait. There is no Appy Coruscant. Which leads me
Yeah,
to the New South Wales team. What the fuck is this shit? This team makes no sense to me. Appy
I tell you,
Coruscant.
there's a reason I'm supporting Queensland.
Mate,
I can't support this team.
what the hell is going on? How is Coruscant not in this team? I don't get it.
Imagine lost support.
He's the best hooker in the comp, and I love Harry Grant. You know how much I love Harry Grant.
Yeah, you got a hard on for Harry Grant.
100% hard on for Harry is what is my nickname. It it begs belief. Um, I'm lost for words. If I'm Appy Coruscant, I am. I don't know how I'd feel if I'm Appy Coruscant because this feels
It's filthy.
like
Yeah, I can understand having a McGuinness, or even like another hooker in the team,
yeah,
but no Appy Coruscant. Like,
it makes it's ridiculous.
yeah, I
And
am. Yeah, I got
it's
no word.
it's
Especially when
perplexing.
you've got no Nathan Cleary.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. You need somebody who's a bit more dominant when it comes to deciding what plays you're going to run when you don't have that general on the field. Look, if is there anything obvious you want to talk about? Otherwise, I'm just going to go through the team and pick which one I don't like.
Nothing obvious.
Yeah,
Oh, there's. Oh, Yeah, yes and no. They're obvious to me, but I like different things to other people.
Well,
And
that's why we have the podcast, mate. Differing
yeah,
opinions.
no, just we'll go through it, and we can
Yeah,
talk
so
about
Edwards picked over Tedesco. I
it. I wouldn't have, but I can see why.
that's where I sit with it. I wouldn't have done it, but that's not where I'm going to plant my flag.
No, I got much more big, and as a Roosters fan, like, we get Tedesco to stay. Like,
Yeah. I saw this
oh,
coming
oh
like
no,
2 weeks ago in Supercoach. I had to decide if I'm getting Tedesco or Edwards in, and I was like, Madge is going to fucking pick Edwards. It's going to happen.
man,
You can
the
see it
most
coming.
upset man about this is Joey Manu because this is normally a time where he gets to play a bit of fullback.
Yeah.
He's the most upset man about Teddy being dropped.
Yep. Yep. Like he got some reps in earlier in the season, so Japanese rugby can see what he's made of. But no, Brian Toto, Stephen Crichton, we don't really need to talk about that, do we?
No,
No. Joseph Suwali and Zach Lomax are the other edge.
I is that confirmed though that they're going to be together?
No, no, I haven't seen
Okay,
anything.
I'd like to hope it's Sawali. Oh no, he likes to play right, even though he plays left for us, but that's because Manu's there. Um, A, I know that we will disagree on Sawali. I 100% would have picked him in the team. On the wing though,
Yeah, I don't. Do you reckon they switch on game day?
with who? Oh,
Lomax and him?
Lomax. I wouldn't have picked Lomax as a center either.
No. Yeah.
Um, potentially, potentially,
That's it for me. Like
but they've both played their best footy as a winger.
yeah, that I wouldn't have picked Joseph. Um, no real surprise if anyone's listened to the podcast before. But either of those players, I would only pick on the wing unless I'm
Yeah,
desperate.
yeah, and I don't think we were that desperate.
No, we're not. We've got Burton's not getting a run. No secret that I would have picked him at centre instead. Um,
Yeah,
I think who did you have at
100%.
centre? Latrell.
I'd Latrell.
Yeah, and
I,
I
I'm
wouldn't pick him, but I
picking,
can see why.
I'm picking Burton at centre and Sawali on the wing over Sawali at centre and Lomax on the wing.
Yeah, and I'd pick Burton and Lomax. But yeah, the Sawali and in the centres or Lomax in the centres, whatever ends up happening is very it's very odd. Um, and I think if I'm Queensland, I'm going to really try to take advantage of that edge. Nico and Jerome in the halves. Should I just give you the mic for the next five
Uh,
minutes?
it's 5 hours.
Yeah,
Um, Look, I would have picked Luai, no problem in the world. But yeah, my issue is obviously Hines. There's no one in the world I would have picked him. I would have picked either, as I said, I would have just gone Luai and Kieran, gone, you blokes have won 6 comps between you, figure it out. Or I would have gone Luai at 7, Burton at 6.
yeah. See, uh, as soon as Moses went down, Mitchell, I had Luai coming in. I really rate how he's been playing this year. A lot of people seem to have only come around in the last 2 weeks. I think those people have fallen in the trap of saying, "Oh, he's off the cuff. He takes no responsibility. This, that, the other," forgetting that Nathan's actually had a pretty dodgy year this year and always had to step up a lot.
And what about when he took Samoa to a World Cup final?
Samoa to a World Cup grand final. That was ridiculous, and that was a big turnaround as well. They got pumped by England in the first round, in their first game, and then they had to build back into it. And then he looked $1 million when he was there.
Mm.
Big fan of Jerome. Made no secret of that, but I think he's taken his game to the next level as well. After signing the Tigers contract, I think that's happened. I think that whole drama has really led him to be like, "Nah, I'm the man. I'm gonna show you I'm the man."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's where he'll play 7 for them next year, won't he? Surely.
I think so. I think so. Yeah, like him and
Who
Gallo,
else?
you'd assume would be
Yeah, who else are they going to pick?
exactly. When it comes to Nico, I think with everyone gone, maybe you pick him. um, my choice essentially was where do I play Burton, and then who comes into the team where I don't play Burton. So I would have picked Luai at 7. If I pick Burton at centre, I go Nico at 6, and if I pick Burton at 6, I go Latrell at centre with the bodies we have available. So I'm not upset with Nico being in the team. I think the seven needs to be on Jerome's back.
Yeah.
Um, and Nico, the injury thing, it doesn't really bother me as long as they're going to prepare for all scenarios. But that leads me to we haven't prepared for all scenarios. We've got a
With the
full-forward
bench was
bench.
named.
Yeah,
Yeah. Is there, I don't know what the rules are um, compared to NRL. Are they able to make a late team change?
I think so. I think
I'm
they
sure
have
you,
to. I
I'm
think
sure
they
you can
do to
always
an hour. Yeah,
lie and go, oh, well,
yeah, he's injured.
he's injured. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, does Burton come onto the bench? Which again, I don't know why you play him on
yeah,
the
he's not the
bench, but
bench player, is he?
it's better than nothing.
It is better than nothing. It's weird. I think it, I don't understand the bench, and we'll go into tactics in that next episode. But for now, we're just looking at selections. It doesn't make sense to me. Matt Burton, I think, should be in the team given his versatility. Um, and I think there's a number of players I would have gone to fix the problems we have instead of what Madge has gone. I think Hudson Young, sorry, not Hudson Young, Mitch Barnett, he's been screwed over a bit, missing out. Um,
So how is he not in the
sorry,
team when some of the people that are
yeah,
like Jake Travojevic? You're kidding me.
yeah, and I picked Jake, but I still would have picked Mitch Barnett, and obviously Jake's a bit of a controversial take. My thing is we've just got no middles, and he had a good game three last year. That's literally it. If we had any other options, I'd look at it. But other people they want to go Utoka Manu and go the young route and just blood people and say, well, what's the upside of Jake when we got these boys? I can see that side of things. Personally, I just
If it came down to Mitch Barnett or Jake, though, I'm picking Mitch Barnett.
yeah, yeah, I agree. I think we need Mitch Barnett in the team. Especially when you look at somebody else, a like for like players, Spencer Leniu or Mitch Barnett, who's had the better season.
Barnett.
Barnett by a country mile as well.
Lenu's played like 5 more minutes than I have this year.
Exactly right. I don't. The Lenu pick again just screams of desperation without much thought. But it is what it is. That's the men's Origin team. We probably won't have many thoughts on the women's
I didn't even know
Origin
we
team.
named the women. Oh, I did see that Queensland's. I haven't seen New South Wales. I saw they moved Brigginshaw back to 7.
Oh well, I'm the opposite. I've seen New South Wales, but not Queensland's. So that's good. I'll list them all out. Um, just probably while you're getting it up on your phone or something. But just for
Is
now,
that?
for
Oh,
a
are we
sec.
done with the men's team?
Unless you have anything left, there's not
Not
much more we
really.
can talk about with Jake.
Liam Martin. He's not in great form, but I mean, who else are we gonna
I
pick?
would have played him in the middle. Oh,
I would have played him. Well, in our fantasy draft, I put him in the front row,
yeah,
which is what I would have done. Ola Kawatu, I don't know what happens there.
yeah.
That's
There's.
for me. I would have picked him because I don't know who else I would have picked.
I would have just started
But
him.
I also think it's a risk.
I would have started him and played Martin off the bench in the middle.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, Mark can always start, and then Ola Kawatu can come on for him.
Yeah, but see, my
Isaiah
thing
Yo on the
is so
bench.
shit. Oh my god, that's so shit.
If you don't have Tedesco and Nathan, Isaiah Yo's your captain.
100%. 100%.
Um, I mean, he does need to lift. He hasn't played that great in Origin. But I don't get what he does when he comes on. Like, he either starts or he's not the team for me.
Yeah, I would have started him. I'm gonna play devil's advocate in the preview, and come up and do my best to come up with a strategy for what Madge has gone with.
Yeah,
But I
okay.
would have started him. I would
Yep.
have played Martin off the bench. I would have started Olakwatu. The reason I would start Olakwatu is because it's relatively new in terms of combinations. I don't want my half and my centre to have to learn to play with two different people
Yeah, fair.
in training. If it was a settled team, if it was a You
Or if
know,
it was Nathan or something, like you'll
yeah.
be right.
If it was just a new back rower, then yeah, we can split the two. But it's completely new edges, completely new coach, completely new systems. I would want edges playing together for 80 minutes and training like that throughout the
Mm.
week. That's why I don't like Olaquatu on the bench.
Even the whole training throughout the week, is Nico even going to be able to train every
Well,
session?
he didn't train already, so he
Well, then
missed the
there you
first
go.
session.
What's doing there?
I don't know. I don't know. And also, if Nico's out, I'm putting Matt Burton in the team before I put Kiri in the team.
Yeah, well, that's the rumor, you know, that Kiri goes to 7.
Yeah, and it's like he's
Um,
not even a club 7. Like we've been through this for like
we
15
have
years.
seen enough that we know Luke Kiri is not a club 7.
100%, and they're gonna put him there at Origin. Kiri at 7 is equivalent to Ponga at 6. It doesn't work. We know it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Stop.
The only crystal ball or conspiracy theory or whatever you want to say is that they know Burton's going into the 14,
Yeah,
and therefore, righto, Luke, if he goes down pre-game, you're going to be halfback because Matt Burton's already going to be on the bench, so we don't want to stuff Matt.
yeah, I can
Or,
see that.
you know what I mean, that's just my best guess, maybe.
Yeah, that's your if. You know, that's not what you do, but it's what you think could be
Yeah,
happening
it's
and the
trying to.
best
I'm trying to
explanation.
connect the dots.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I don't like it, but I can see that. I think looking at the squad we've got, there's no way for me to come up with a team that I like. Unless, nah, even then I don't like it. I was gonna say unless you put Joseph on the wing, on the bench, and only use him in case if there's an injury. But even that I don't really like.
Who do you put on the bench?
Well,
Slowly.
well, I don't like a full forward bench.
Yeah.
So your options are
What
Matt
happened
Burton,
though?
Luke Keary.
Connor Watson getting injured's really stuffed you.
Yeah, yeah,
He's the perfect 14. He could
he
play
is.
fullback, he could play center, he could play 6, he could play 7, he could play 9, he could play 13.
Yeah.
At a pinch, he could probably play on an
Well, I
edge.
was actually looking at it. I was thinking about it last night. I've got a lot of time on my hands lately. Nick Meaney. I'm not saying I would pick him, but when it comes to versatility, once Connor Watson goes down, he's probably the next best player New South Wales have. Like he can play fullback, wing,
But
centre,
yeah,
six.
yeah.
Like I'm not saying
Yeah,
I'm
the
picking
only.
him. I'm not saying. I'm just saying
No,
he
yeah.
can play all those positions adequately.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get you. The only thing he can't really cover hooker.
Yeah, that was a big downside. And I think we need it, but with the team we've got plenty of hooking coverage. He's just not the
Yeah,
best one.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, do you want to move on to the women's game now?
Yep.
Cool. So
So
fullback.
when is it?
It's on Thursday next
Cool.
month. No, Thursday the 6th.
Okay.
So
It's the day after Origin.
I think so. Yeah, Thursday the 6th.
Yep, cool.
It's in Newcastle, so I'm thinking about going. Anyway, Emma Tonegado on the wing, Jamie Chapman and Tiana Penatani
And
on.
we're telling to go at the wing.
Sorry, Emma Tonegado at fullback. Chapman and Penatani on the wing, Sergis Kelly centres, Corbin Baxter, Rachel Pearson, the halves combination, Millie Elliott, that's going to take some getting used to. Olivia Higgins, Caitlin Johnston is the front row. Kezzy Apps, Yasmin Clydesdale, Keely Davis are the back row. Talia Fulmiono, Olivia Koenig, Grace Camp, Sarah Tokatugi are the bench. The reserves are Whitfield, Dibb, and Johnston. Johnson? Johnston. Yeah, okay.
So no,
Queensland.
no changes.
Not that I can see.
No, I don't recall any.
Was it
I think. Well,
Penatani? Was Penatani on the wing in game one?
I think so.
I just don't remember her doing much. Let me have a look.
Well, she's a winger, mate. I don't do much anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe Jamie Chapman just took it all. Yeah, Penatani was on the wing. That's a weird one. Yeah.
The only thing was there's a late change and Olivia Koenig started.
Yeah, and I think we've just named it that way now, haven't we?
No,
No, we
Koenig's on the
haven't.
bench.
Yeah, Koenig's on the bench again with Davis on the wing. Yeah. Oh, at lock. I am all over the shop today.
I'm telling you, Henry, if you're listening, mate, there's a spot opening up.
Yeah, he's not coming back, mate. Visas take too long to sort out. For Queensland, Tamika Upton, Julia Robinson, Shanae, I don't know how to say that last name. Lauren Brown, Vanya Politi, Taryn Aiken, Brigginshaw, Shannon Marta, Destiny Brill, Jessica Elliston, Tamsin Rapana, Romy Teitzel, Sienna Lafipo. I don't know her. Should I know her? Maybe I do know her and I'm just blanking. Emma Manzelman, Mackenzie Wheel, Sophie Haleman, Amanita Parky, Zahara Tamara, Keely Joseph, and Skylar Adams. That's a weird one. I can understand what Queensland are doing. They want to keep Brigginshaw in the team, but did Tamara have such a bad game that they had to drop her last game? I don't know.
I can't remember. I didn't watch all of the game. I caught sort of the second half of the second half.
Yeah. Well, for me, what I would like to claim credit because I said Brigginshaw in the 13 is going to mean our forwards run all over them and they're going to struggle, and that's exactly what happened. So thank you very much. I will take that.
Well done.
Yep.
Well done.
Yep.
You should
Thank
have
you.
a podcast or something.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it. I just need a co-host that I can rely on. He's just never here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. But no, yeah. I think there's not much to talk about because there hasn't been any games between
no,
Origin
that's
games.
the thing. I missed most of the first game, and then there's been no club footy
Yeah.
to go off on anything.
Yeah.
So
And I'm not very good at remembering things. I think I remember Rachel Pearson making a few mistakes. That's probably because I'm hyper fixating on getting Kira Div into the team and Jesse Southwell into the team.
yeah, get Jesse Southwell in.
Yeah. And I don't understand. We got lucky a lot.
Well, I saw obviously the highlight. I saw I was going to call her Tracy Chapman. Jamie Chapman, her try.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's happening again.
Yeah, exactly. We got lucky there, and I think what we spoke about, where the girls aren't going to be trained up enough to play their best, was very true. It was very true in that game. It was a good game. Like I liked watching it, whatever. But they can play so much better. Like Chapman's a great example. They kicked to her twice, I think, maybe three times, and she caught the ball. But because she's not used to her run timings yet, she had too much speed going across. So like you run forward, you have momentum going forward. So she
Mm,
caught the ball, and when she jumped, she had too much momentum going forward, and the ball just kept popping out. Instead of holding it, like she didn't have enough vertical and had too much going forward.
yeah,
So
okay.
she won the contest, but the ball just popped out. And it's those little things that are like when somebody who doesn't watch the game often watches it, they're going to be like, well, the women can't catch the ball. And it's like, well, no. She's just messed up her lines because she hasn't been playing proper footy in a while.
Yeah.
So there was a fair bit of that going on, which again, and then Taryn Aiken had an uncharacteristically bad start to the game. She pulled out a few things towards the end, but she's a weapon, and it just wasn't there for the start. So I think there's definitely merit to the madness. I just wanted to mention that because a lot of people were saying, yeah, it's a great game, and I'm like, yeah, I enjoyed watching it, but they could have played so much better, and you're doing them a disservice by not by just pretending like this was the best they could play. Um, but look, moving on to PNG, because I think you've got some thoughts on that. We've spoken about it a fair bit. PNG, someone reported that they've been guaranteed
Yeah, I think
600
it was
mil.
like on Ben Fordham. I saw on Twitter. He was like, "Yeah, exclusive. They're gonna do it." It was like 60 million a
Note,
year for 10
yeah,
years.
noted rugby league journalist Ben Fordham.
Yeah, on the Ben Fordham show. I wish my dad was a agent to the stars.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, like I really don't get it. And I get the government's going to give us money because of China's influence in the region and all this sort of jazz and blah blah blah. And the report was that they're not going to be the next team in, it's just going to be let's set up all the pathways first. But I just don't get it. People don't want to live in Canberra. People,
Yeah.
but they want to live in PNG. And
Yeah.
then if it's not okay, well, it's going to be based in Cairns. It's like, well, it's not a PNG team, and they call them the Cairns Toucans or whatever you want to call. I don't care. But it's not it's a fake PNG
And Cairns
team.
is also not a place where I want a rugby league team.
Exactly right. Besides all this money from the government, what is the point of this?
Mm. And government money is fickle.
Yeah, like what if Labor get rolled and the Libs are just like, yeah, this ain't happening.
Yeah. It's a very easy sell as well. Like to cut this, it's a really easy sell.
Yeah, 600 million for a footy team in PNG.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, even as a taxpayer, I'm like, what is this nonsense?
yeah, see, I'm a bit. There's so much nonsense in tax that I don't go that route, even though I could and I understand it and I probably agree with it. I just, if I'm gonna go tax nonsense, there's other things, but I don't get it. Like, it doesn't make sense to me for the longevity of the game. Now, 600 million is nothing to sneeze at, but what are we spending it on?
Yeah,
And then how does that benefit the game, right? Because if it was 600 million as a, we're gonna pay to set up the team, and then we're also gonna give you 600 million over 10 years, I might be tempted.
yeah.
But if it's 600 mil just to set up the team, then I'm like, well, why do I want the investment in this place, right? It'd be like saying, oh, we'll give you 10 million to build a cricket ground, and it's like, well, that's great, but what does it do for us?
Yeah.
Why would I care about building a cricket ground if I'm an NRL comp, right? Like, how does this benefit us? So that's what I don't get. Like, even if it's a lot of money, what benefit does the game get from
And it's just, they're going to suck.
it?
Like, all right, so let's say they sign Xavier Coates, great player, he's a winger. Alex Johnson passed it. They bring Lachlan Lamb back, had a decent crack at the NRL, couldn't quite make it. If you sign all the PNG blokes, like, then, like, Justin Olam, okay player. Put him in a weird system. Who knows what's going to happen to him? Like, just who's going to want to go there
Yeah, that's
besides
it.
blokes that are over the hill and looking for a payday,
Yeah,
one final payday?
yeah. I think if the NRL want a foothold in the PNG, that's great, but it's got to be stop. It's got to stop at pathways.
Yeah,
And for those of you who don't know how pathways run at the moment, that's not. I'm not talking. It's got a like New South Wales Cup. I know they have it like a reserve grade team, but I think it's I forget who their reserve grade team is, but that's not what I mean by pathways. I mean school kids. Like, who
yeah,
are we flying out to Sydney to go into the Rooster system? Find those guys, because that's how you get PNG talent.
yeah.
Like,
Find them. Go and find the best 30 kids from PNG and put two of them in each development system. Fly them in, fly them out, pay for them to go to school.
with what? Yeah, exactly. With their living standards over there, and I can speak to this because I have a lot of family in Fiji. There'll be tons of kids who will agree to come out here just to get an Australian schooling, like just to get into the Australian schooling system. Like, that's like literally all you have to do is pay for where they live, tell them they've got a spot in a decent school, and they will come and they will play flag. Or I'm sorry, not flag. They'll play mats.
That's the thing too, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna go live there. Oh, does that mean I have to send my kids to school there? Like, oh, I've got to take my kid out of Sydney Grammar to go to PNG school. Like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah,
No, I'm not going. Oh, so I just got to go and leave my wife and kids here so they can live a. Yeah. Oh no, thanks. I think I'll just re-sign with my current club.
yeah. It's very weird. I don't get it. I don't. And again, it goes down to what's that 600 going to be spent on? If it's going to be spent on just getting a PNG team off the ground, then it might as well be $0.
Yep.
Because, now if they turned around and they said 600 mil plus we're going to build three $35,000, 35-seater stadiums, different story. I still
Yeah.
wouldn't do it, but it's a different story because there's benefit to the game from that. But
Yep.
yeah, I don't really understand what's going on here. Have we spoken about BA? It's been so long since we podcasted.
I don't think so.
Anyway, BA's gone.
Interesting.
Yeah, very
Interesting.
interesting. It's I don't know what the future holds for Parramatta. Like,
But how weird was it? Like they've come out and gone, oh well, we actually been talking to Wayne for a month, but even though it basically everyone's reporting Wayne's done at South, and then literally the next day Wayne was confirmed at South.
yeah,
So was it like a bit of a PR exercise so that their fans can't go, well, why didn't you sack him earlier and go after Wayne? And like, well, we spoke to Wayne.
I don't know what the thinking from Para is at the moment. I think the problems at Para probably run deeper than what's happening on field. So I'm not going to try to reason
But if you
what they've
sack Brad
said.
Arthur, right, you sack him because you can get someone better.
Yeah,
From everything we've read, you're never getting Wayne. Is Michael Maguire better?
I don't know. And is Michael Maguire available?
Is Jason Demetriou better?
Yeah, that's it. I think,
Is Jason Riles better? We don't know.
and even if they are, will they go?
Yeah, like have you had confirmation? Yeah, if you sack Brad, we'll be there.
Because I'll be honest, one of the names that comes to my head is Holbrook. But didn't you guys make a point about saying you've got to be here for like X amount of years because we're sick of his existence?
But yeah, potentially. Potentially. I know we tried to with Riles especially after him and Adam O'Brien.
So I look at that and I think you've sacked BA, whatever, but where to now?
I'm not saying that's a wrong decision. It is only going to be a right or wrong decision, depending on who they get next. If
Yeah.
they'd gone, boom, we've sacked BA, and then by the way, he's Wayne Bennett. I guess sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd go, that's a well-run club, but everyone's already said it's just poorly run club, and it's come true. Like, they've sacked the coach. There's no future in sight. Like, if the team doesn't know what's going to happen, and their interim is Trent Barrett.
Yeah, and like even if say Para go on a bit of a run now that because teams have been named, Mitch and Gutho back, say they go on a bit of a run, right? Are you really going to go home and back? Like we've seen Trent Barrett be a head coach.
Mate, I hope they do. I hope they do.
That would be the funny. Of course, it'd be the funniest thing of all time for us. But where we can at least pretend to try and be neutral.
Yeah.
And not talk biasly, but like, why would you sign? I'm sure Trent Barrett's probably a good assistant coach, but
He's not a head coach. No way.
no.
His only head coaching success has been when he was at Penrith coaching a team of studs.
Oh please, I could coach. That's like Mal saying Mal Meninga's a good coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Cameron, what do you want to do? Oh, you're not sure. Thurston, Lockie, Coops, GI. Any ideas, boys?
Yeah.
Sorry, I trust out. And even then, you mentioned Holbrook. Like, are we sure Holbrook's a better option?
Yeah, that's it. Well, it doesn't matter if he's...
He might be the perfect assistant coach.
Yeah. If I'm the Para fan base and trying to go into that hole, let's not just say it's funny if they get Trent Barrett. I want to see a lot of the board and the suits disappear. I want turnover there, similar to what's happened at the Tigers, even though the Tigers are going shit.
Yeah.
I want to see turnover there before I get excited about anything, because it's one thing to get rid of BA, that might be the right decision, and I agree with you. Whether that's the correct decision or not depends on what happens now.
Yeah, it's TBC.
Yeah.
And I think he'll find a job.
Where do you think he lands? Because Seabock walked out of. I also think this is funny. The report was he went in to negotiate his contract. Manly said we're not going to negotiate his contract now, and he walked out. And apparently that's controversial. If the meeting is about negotiating a contract, and the other party says, "Look, not now," what are you going to do? Just sit there and have a coffee? Like,
Yeah. Oh, so mate, so how are the kids?
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's like, no, mate, we're not going to talk about that now. Okay, yeah, fair enough. See
I
ya.
don't say it's
Like, anyway.
yeah, okay.
But yeah, like, could BA go to Manly? I mean, his kid's there. Would he want to go back to where his kid was, given the experience at
Ah,
Para?
mate, to be honest, you look at Manly, if he goes there, it wouldn't be hard to tap. Well, I mean, it's not like Jake was ever going to get a run anyway because
Yeah,
he had Moses and Brown in front of him. I was going to say he's got Cherry and Brooks in front of him. But I don't mean this in a horrible way to Jake, but it's also one of those things where it's like, Manly could just go, mate, move on.
yeah.
Like, he'd be on nothing.
He's not a needle mover.
Yeah. Whether Jake Arthur's in our squad or not, who cares? Like, I'm sure he's a decent backup, but I'd take him, to be honest, for next year.
Yeah, yeah.
The
He's a
Chooks.
great second stringer.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'd take him with the Chooks next year to back up Sam and Sander. Like
Sam
Drew
and Sam,
Hutchison was
maybe.
the perfect 18th person in your squad,
Yeah,
and we missed that this year.
yeah.
So
Big
yeah,
time.
Jake will find a club, but yeah, he could end up at Manly.
I don't know who else, because he doesn't end up at Melbourne unless Craig Bellamy retires, which
No, and
he's
then
playing on
probably
next year.
Jason Riles is probably the favourite for that.
See, I would rather have BA, because
Oh,
I've seen him. He's a
yep,
known quantity.
yep, and I'd say he's very well. He was there as an assistant.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. He's
and
already been there.
he comes across as more of a Bellamy like.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't want to compare the two at all,
No,
but
very different.
he seems more like Craig Bellamy than Jason Riles does.
Yeah, and we've also seen him get the most out of players. Like Bryce Cartwright last year was like, we've been waiting 10 years to see that, and
Yeah,
BA finally got it out of him.
Mitch Moses.
Mitch Moses is like, both of us used to agree on Mitch Moses, and we still agree on him now, but the change in our opinion of Moses has been night and day.
Yeah,
Like,
like Dylan Brown's played good footy.
yep, he's come along. Jermaine Hopgood
Jermaine Hopgood.
has come along.
They haven't played bad footy.
No.
There's a few blokes that probably I think they're not only did again I don't know if moving on Brad Arthur's right, but there's also a few players there that's probably time to regenerate a little bit.
Yep.
Especially in their front row, like Campbell Gillard and Paulo. And
I think that's too much money spent there, but again, we know that.
And he milked everything I think you could out of those two.
Yep.
Now I just think everyone has their time, and it's probably their time.
Yep, and we know that he doesn't have full decision making over recruitment. Like, it's a committee that's been pretty public, the arguments they've all had, and it's like, man, BA isn't the one making a lot of what's going wrong at Para. Like, we talk about...
And I get you can't give the coach 100% control, because he will just worry about keeping his job to a degree. But it's also, I'd be going, well, hold on. You want to keep me accountable for this team, but I had no say in the team.
Yeah, like the way I would do it is, it's a committee that does recruitment decisions, but coach would have veto power on players they don't want. So if somebody's like, hey, we've got this almost signed, sealed and delivered, and the head coach says, you know what, no, it's done, it's over, it's not happening.
Yeah.
Right? I wouldn't say, I want to sign this person, head coach said I want to sign him, give him everything. That I wouldn't do, but I do the rules.
Yeah. No. I mean, you look at the top 4 coaches, right? Bennett, Bellamy, Robbo and Ivan have all won, 3 comps minimum. But you don't think they're going, I want this bloke? Or, no, I don't want this bloke?
Yeah.
Or they would have, like, hey, I want to coach this way. I think we can get this style, this, that player suits it, that player doesn't. Can we get this guy? And again, I don't give him 100% control. but they are responsible for the team.
Mm-hmm.
They need to have a big say in who comes in and out.
100%. And I don't think he had enough of a say, which is, again, if I'm a Para fan, I don't care that BA's gone. I want to see other people leave as well, and I want to see a restructuring of the club.
Yeah.
But that's
With them though, just Parramatta.
Yeah.
And them not having a coach at the minute, but people with like Blaise Talangi, he's off contract.
Mm-hmm.
You're not
I'm
gonna
not signing.
make but even who knows? There we go. But Arthur say Para don't know what they're doing with their roster because what if a coach come in and goes, "I think Blaise Talangi is the worst player I've ever seen
Yeah.
ever.
Well,
He's not going to fit my style."
yeah. Well, that's it, right? And that
Or the next coach could come and go, Gutto's going to the centres. I want Blaze as my full-time fullback. This is what I want to do, blah, blah, blah. And so, mate, we took too long to sign you, and Blaze is off somewhere else. Sorry,
Yeah,
mate.
and they've now forced themselves into a holding pattern. They've forced themselves to now be in a spot where they can't make any big decisions, and if they do, it could backfire even worse.
Yep.
Like,
What about the Lomax thing? There's the rumour that he wanted the BA clause.
Mm-hmm.
Like, apparently, because BA said, yeah, mate, no dramas. I want you to play centre. What if they... Well, Madge is rumoured to be interested. He's a leading candidate. What if Madge goes, Zach, mate, you are a winger. You are playing on the wing. Zach goes, well, all right, I would have just stayed at the Dragons if I knew this was going to be the case.
Yeah, exactly. They've now, a lot of people would say at least they've got rid of BA, they can move on, and it's like, well, they can't move on until they sign somebody else. Like,
Why would you have signed Zach Lomax? Because you knew that you were potentially moving on from
Brad Arthur.
Brad Arthur, and Lomax is going, hey, can I have a Brad Arthur clause?
Yeah, and that's just it. Like,
I'd be a bit wary of, hey, A, no, you're definitely not getting that, but B, do we really want to sign this bloke?
Mm-hmm. That's it. If he's coming in and he's already telling you, I want to play for BA, and you're in the back of your head, you're like, oh well, we're getting rid of BA. You should be like, look, like we don't come here.
Yeah.
As good a player as he is, he's a back. Like, I'm sorry.
No. Parramatta are more than just a Zach Lomax away from winning a comp.
100%.
So if that's what he was asking for, I would have been like, yeah, maybe
Something.
Maybe we can just give it a miss.
Yeah. That's where I'd be. I think Parramatta have been mismanaged, and they've now forced themselves to be in a horrible position. And it's rare for a club to make me happy about Newcastle's management team, but holy shit, they've managed to pull it off.
And they're a big club too. Like, you talk about the Tigers always being mismanaged. They're a drop in the ocean. Those blokes, like fair income.
Yeah.
But Parramatta,
they're huge. They have
every January. It's like, is this the year Parramatta finally win a comp?
Yeah. And for people wondering, they have the potential to be as big as Penrith when it comes to their junior leagues. They just have bottled it. They've bottled it so much. They have a leagues club backing them. They've got money. But they just don't know how to manage themselves as a footy team. And it's a shame for NRL as well, because the amount of talent they could be producing is huge. Like, it wouldn't just benefit them, it would benefit the game, because like with the Penrith players, we're seeing people go to other clubs. We'd have so many more players come through. And just on that, actually, speaking about mismanagement, they're now sponsored by an asbestos king again.
I did see that. What do they do? What does this Hardy joint do?
I don't know exactly what he does, but he basically is responsible for most of the asbestos in Parramatta, and they knew how bad it was and kept using it back in the day.
Okay. I did see that they had something to do with asbestos.
Yeah, I assume they're a construction company.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, and obviously they're probably not using asbestos now, but it's a pretty shit company to sign with. So again,
yeah, well, everything these days has got to be the public tick of approval.
Mm-hmm. And
That is odd that they've gone with that.
maybe their saving grace is a lot of footy fans probably don't have their finger on the pulse and will just see, oh, it's an old jersey sponsor, how good. But I don't know, man. It just, to me, it reeks of poor management again. Because
Yep.
there's no downside to saying no to this contract, right? Like if you said no, we don't want you
Yeah.
to sponsor us. No one has to know. No one's gonna get angry. No one because nobody even knows it's an option.
Yeah. And it's not like they'd be struggling to find a sponsor, surely.
Exactly like we said, they're a big club. But it's again, to me, it's like the management of the club have just shit the bed again, and they're just not doing their due diligence, and it's not working, and things need to change. And I feel sorry for Henry, man. Like to go for a club like this, like fucking hell. Like,
Yeah. It's very, I mean, I know people take the Mickey, but I am so thankful for Uncle Nick. Fair income. You just look at some other club, and this is why I gonna give you a free kick here, but I have a very simple brain. I just like I think very simply, and I look at like Uncle Nick and that, and it's just like, if he can do it, why can't everyone else?
yeah,
Like, how is it so hard to get it so wrong
it's
when there's blokes like the Roosters, the Panthers, Storm, the Brisbane, that just get it right?
yeah, and like this is the thing about sport. There's always going to be somebody who wins 2 games in a season, right? There's a good team and a bad team. That's the point of sport. But it's how do they become the bad team that matters, right? Like, remember when the Cowboys won a comp and then they became shit?
Yeah,
That's how you become a bad team. You go all in to win, and because you went all in, it's not bad management because you won the fucking thing, and that's the point. That's just what you had to do to win, and now you've got to take some losses while you rebuild, right? That's good management. Led to a bad outcome, but you won the trophy, and then you became shit. Fair enough, right? Obviously, there are things in there like don't let Kalen Ponga go, but overall, you look at that and you're like, that's a acceptable way to become a shit team.
mm.
And then you look at the Tigers on the flip side, and it's like, well, you're incompetent. Like this isn't a, you're not bad because it's sport and somebody needs to be bad. You're bad because you're incompetent.
Yeah. It's just
Like even the Roosters, you guys came 16th one time or 15th one time.
yeah,
The Broncos, they want a spoon. Look at them now. Like there's good ways to manage a team, and there's always going to be teams that lose. But then there's shit management, and it's not that hard to make the finals in the NRL. Half the teams, or just under half the teams, make it.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Well, for a long time it was half.
yeah,
Literally, there were a couple of years ago, Canberra made the finals, having lost more games than they had won.
yeah. It's so easy to make the finals. There is no excuse to not play finals for more than 2 years in a row, in my opinion, in a salary capped competition. And you want to hear something else?
Well,
Canberra currently in the top 8 with a negative 38 points differential.
currently,
Yep. Negative 38. Manly are out of the top 8 with 36. Bulldogs are out of the top 8 with 47, positive. Cowboys have a positive as well. They're positive 2 out of the top 8. The Raiders are in with negative 38. And the Knights are in with negative 9. Holy shit.
that
Like,
team really does suck at footy.
yeah. And to me, like, reading that, it's like, it's not hard to be in the 8. Just do it. Like, just do it. And I know teams need to lose and teams need to miss out, but it should not be this often for this long for so many teams, like the Dragons,
Well,
like the Tigers.
2010, Sean Kenny Dow intercept in the 100th minute. That was the last time the Tigers played finals footy.
Yeah, yeah.
You tell me you can't fluke. Then what about 2000 and not 20. I mean, what was it, 21 or something? When the
What happened?
Roosters had that many injuries, and we made the final. We made week 2
Yeah, yeah. That's what I
the
mean.
final.
It's not. It's not like it. This isn't a top 5, a top 4 system. It's a top 8. It's 50%. You should not be missing for more than 2 years in a row. And it's not like
Yeah.
EPL where it's relegations and you've got to fight from being a lowly club and then build to it. It's all the same
Yeah,
every year.
and
You can plan for it.
and the EPL, there's not a ton of salary cap stuff like there is in the NRL.
Mm.
I'm not 100% sure on the
So they have a cap.
details,
It's
but
just huge. Like
it's
yeah,
also the big clubs always like get whoever they want, though,
yeah,
don't
yeah. That's what I mean. They have a cap. It's just huge. It doesn't really matter. Like
they?
the
Yeah,
biggest thing there, like, and that's why I mentioned relegation is when you get promoted, you get more cap. So it's hard, but it's hard to plan for that, right? If you tell Newtown that they've, and this is at the end of the season, hey Newtown, you're now in the NRL. You've got 3 months to spend 6 mil.
yeah,
Like it's so much harder. But with us, it's not like that at all. It's every year. You know what your cap's going to look like, or you should. Maybe these clubs don't.
yeah,
But that I feel like is a deep dive we can do at some other time in the off season or something, where it's just
yeah.
like
We do not have enough time to solve the issue of why clubs are mismanaged.
shit. Yeah, but it's well, we do know why, and it's because jobs get given to people because they're friends instead of
Yep,
competent management coming in, and it's the same across the board. Every problem you see in rugby league is nepotism.
yep,
There aren't enough players. I promise you there are. They're just not getting picked. There aren't enough coaches. I promise you there are. They are. They're just not former players with a big name. There aren't like it's all the same. It's all the same answer. Having spoken to people now who are who have worked around the NRL, it's really easy to say that. Like Graham Annesley got fired from the Titans, and all of a sudden he's the head of whatever the hell at the NRL. Like, come on. Um, but those are all tangents. I'm done for tonight. You've got work tomorrow. Is there anything you wanted to vent about before we leave?
No, not really. It's all good. I think we touched on. I'm just perplexed by some of the New South Wales selections.
Mate,
Like the Cobbo on the bench, I don't agree with it. But I can understand it. I understand the thinking of, hey, backs have gone down and there's that 16% win rate if you
yeah.
lose a back, whatever. I can
Oh,
understand
I
it.
can rip that to shreds. I won't because we've been going for an hour, but that is a very misleading stat, and I can rip it to shreds.
I look forward to hearing that in the preview.
Yeah. Oh no, this isn't about Origin. This is more. Someone tweeted it out. Like, out of the 20 games or 17 games or whatever where they've lost the back, they've only won 6 times. And to give you the cliff notes, it's, well, was that team supposed to lose anyway? Like, if the Storm beat the
Yeah,
Rabbitohs,
was it like the Tigers against Penrith or something?
yeah,
Like, mate, Penrith could have lost an outside back and they probably would have won that game.
exactly. And then there's what was the game situation at the time the back went down. So if we're looking at,
Yeah, back went down in the 78th minute
yeah,
when the team was already down 30-0.
100%, or if you take the flip and you go Nico Hines when the team was already down 24-0, like,
Yeah,
against Penrith, like, come on. Like, you were never winning that game even if Nico played 80, right?
yeah.
So there's a lot of nuance to that, which you've already said all of it. So it's, yeah,
Wonderful.
I wish I was bothered enough to go through the stats and to rip it apart, but like you just say those three things and all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, we can't just look at that number.
Stats are dangerous in the wrong
Yep, and then you
hands.
look at the replacement that comes on. Like,
Yeah.
what if a back comes on as a replacement as well? Like, so yeah, yeah, a lot to do with that. I think you should have a utility on the bench, but not for that reason specifically. I think there's more to talk about
Also,
there.
have a utility, not an outside back.
Yes, yeah, and I also think Cobbo should just start in front of Telagi.
Yeah, that's weird. That
Like,
was weird. I didn't understand that one.
like, what are we doing here? If and I don't care where he plays. Like, he can play
But
centre,
the
move Hayne to
way,
the wing. Like,
to be honest, it's also he should almost start in front of Val as
yeah,
well.
that's
Like
what I was
Val's
gonna
been
say as
playing.
well. As soon as I said move him to the wing, I'm like, hang on, You could
Well,
also
Val's our only goal kicker, though. That's the only issue.
can DC manage
Oh,
to kick?
he can, but he can.
Yeah, you probably don't
But
want him to do it
so you
during
probably
Origin,
want him
do
to
you?
in Origin. Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing too. Just on that is, does Zach
Well, Reece
Lomax
Walsh can
go?
kick.
Is
Sorry.
Lomax the goal kicker for New South Wales?
Uh,
I don't trust Hines to goal kick, but also his calf.
yeah, I think so because the other options are Crichton, Suaalii, and that's it.
But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Lomax should be our goal kicker.
Edwards goal kicks when Cleary's not there, but
Yeah,
again, he's a bit iffy. It's
and
got to be Lomax, hasn't it?
I think so. I think that's how I'd go, especially yeah, like you said with Nico's injury, you got to go with
And he's also not the best goal kicker as is.
yeah,
He's okay.
yeah,
He's okay, but I wouldn't say he's one of the elite goal kickers.
yeah. I think if you drop Holmes for Queensland, he's not that good a goal kicker where you're like he has to be in the team for it.
Oh, of course.
And
Yeah,
Reece
yeah,
Walsh can
absolutely.
kick, and DCE can kick. Probably go
Yeah.
Walsh first. I think he.
Again, that goes back to, I mean, we should say that, like, what about the standards Val set for himself? He's having a shocker.
Yeah,
But
100%. There's so
150.
much like, just what the hell are you talking about? Like Jeremiah Nanai, Val Holmes. They're probably
As
the
long
two.
as,
Like Dearden, I think hasn't played up to what he was when he was in Origin.
no, he's the captain of that team now and the 5'8", and they're struggling.
Yeah, like Ezra Mam and honestly Ben Hunt. I would have picked Ben Hunt
Mm.
at 6. He's like we've seen him play.
Kiri?
Oh, I hope yeah they can have him. They can have him. That was good. That was good. I like that. But yeah, I just yeah I don't get it. It's going to be a very interesting Origin. We'll preview it in more depth
We'll preview it. That's it.
in a few at some point. But yeah, no, good chat.
Done.
See you around.
Stay hydrated.